everyone, my name's Ashley, welcome back to my channel, and don't be fooled by the costume change. It's the exact same day as my last two videos. Today I want to talk to you about some other forms of media that I consumed in 2017. I did not read a lot, but I did spend a lot of the first half of the year listening to podcasts. Podcasts are great. So I have a list of 5 podcasts that I want to share with you, tell you about. First of all, I want to talk about why podcasts are so great. They're just great for time fillers. I spent a lot of the first half of last year just playing games on my phone and listening to podcasts at the same time. I would listen to them on the train on the way to uni. I would listen to them while I was cleaning. One of the departments at my work involves taking tickets off and putting tickets on, and most of that happens while the store is closed, so I would listen to them while I was doing that, which probably wasn't supposed to do, but I did anyway. No one ever told me off for it, and I got to listen to some podcasts. So let's talk about the 5 podcasts that I like the most. In number 5 we have Case File True Crime. This is by an anonymous narrator, and it just goes through a whole bunch of true crime cases. Some of them are unsolved, but a lot of them are solved, and it just goes into some of the history behind them and the investigation, and all this weird creepy things. They are very well researched, so well researched. There's in the information of every episode there is research by blah 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 blah. They're just so well done, and at some points I just had to stop listening because I just got way too creepy. The soundtrack to it is fantastic. The only thing with Case File that bothered me was right at the start, the narrator was very biased with opinions of what should happen to the perpetrators of these crimes. That did clear up within a few episodes, so that was really great, and I really enjoyed learning about all these different serial killers or just weird crimes that occurred. And I really do need to get back into this one. In number 4 we have Homecoming. This one is hosted by Gimlet Media, and Homecoming is the fictional one on this podcast. Our main character worked at a rehabilitation center for returned soldiers, I believe, and she either left her job or got fired, I'm not sure which, and sort of it takes place during 2 different timelines, but you can tell when the old timeline is because it's a bit cracklier, and it very visibly audibly changes scene. Does that make sense? I feel I'm not explaining myself very well today. What I really loved about Homecoming is a psychological thriller, but I loved the depth of the voice acting that was involved, and it was just such a great story, and it kept me hooked. And then the season 1 cliffhanger happened, and I was I need season 2 now, and I haven't listened to season 2 yet. I need to get on that because they're only 20-minute episodes and there's only about 7 of them, so I need to get on that real soon. Coming in at number 3 is Holy Effing Science, or if you're looking for it on iTunes, it's HFS. This one is hosted by Hank Green and a bunch of his cool sciencey buddies. There's 4 of them each week, and they get around and they sit on the couch and talk about science stuff. So every week there's a central theme, and they all have to go and find a really weird journal article about it or study or something, and they come in and they talk about it and they try and just blow everyone's minds. The main reason I like this one is because it's not scientists talking about science in a sciencey way, it's scientists talking about science in a layman's way so everyone can understand it, and I love that so much. Once you take away all the technical jargon, science is a lot easier to understand. This is the one that I would listen to on the train because each episode is about an hour and 20 minutes, and that's how long it would take me to get to uni, so I would just stick this one on the way and on the way home, and it would just take up all of that time. Coming in at number 2 we have The Real Thing. I'm not sure if you can get this in the United States, but it's hosted by the ABC, which is the Australian Broadcasting Company. This is just it's just real Australian stories. The 2 presenters, they sort of go around the country, or they phone people, and they talk about just these really weird Australian things. One episode was about the third Bronson. So we have this show called Round the Twist, and there were 3 actors for some of the characters, and the third Bronson, like, no one knows like who it is, so they like contacted him and had a chat. There's one about an artist who like lives like alone and like doesn't talk to anyone, and there's one about a safari park behind like someone's school or something and the lions got out. It's just like really like fun Australian stories, and I really enjoyed it. It was great. Coming in at my number 1 spot for podcast, this one's my favourite, and that is Crime Town. This one's also hosted by Gimlet Media, but this is a non-fiction podcast that looks at the like crime culture in US City. The first season, which is I believe the only season at the moment, centers around Providence, Rhode Island, and it starts with talking about Mayor Buddy Cianci. The episodes alternate between looking at Buddy Cianci's sort of like foray into crime and corruption and looking at the mafia that was like present in Providence at the same time. I'm just really interested in like crime stories, and this one, like, it wasn't necessarily about the crimes themselves, it was like the crime culture. They talk to a lot of different people and they have so many different sources, and like it's just so well researched, and if you were looking for a good crime podcast, I would definitely highly recommend Crime Town by Gimlet Media. So that's it for my favourite podcast. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you got some good recommendations from this video. Please leave me your recommendations down below. Like, even if it's just like one particular episode of a podcast that you think I would be interested in, leave it down below. Someone recommended me an episode of This American Life, which was about summer camp, and it like left me in tears. It was so good. Make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time. Bye!